Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Insightful Moments. My name is Jare Tiamiyu. Today, we'll be going into politics and then we'll be talking about governance. We are going to be bringing the two together, When we have this period that we have in Osun State, it is like 80% politics and then 20% governance for those that are in government. For those that are outside the government, it is 100% politics. But today I will be speaking with somebody who is one of the people in government. I will be speaking directly with the office of the governor. And my guest today will be the chief press secretary to the governor of Osun, Mr. Ismail Omipidan. Mr. Omipidan will be telling us what are they doing as far as governance is concerned. We will be talking about some specific projects, some specific sectors where we think that our projects should not stop. And also, we were talking about politics. The internal crisis in the APC, Alhaji Monsur Adeoti, is still in court. Are they afraid? Is there anything that they are doing to ensure that they all come together? The Osun Progressive members, are they actually with the governor? Or is the governor actually reaching out to them? And also, Senator Ademola Adeleke was the candidate of PDP in 2018, you remember? And he won. He lost that election with less than about 353 votes. And now that we have him again as the candidate of the PDP, facing the same person he faced the last year, is the present government actually afraid of him? What are they actually looking towards in the campaign? That is what we are going to be discussing today. And as I said, my guest is Mr. Ismail Omipidan. Let's go to the other side of the studios and have the robust discussion that we plan to have with him today. Stay tuned, I will head back. Welcome back from our break. My guest is here, and as I said, we'll be discussing our governance and then politics. The government in power now, they are still seeking election. Governor Oyetola is still seeking election. And I'm going to be speaking directly with somebody who speaks for the governor. We'll be speaking with the chief press secretary to the governor, Mr. Ismail Omipidan. Thank you so much for joining us.
The pleasure is mine. Good afternoon.
Sir, let's start from here. Where are we as far as governance is concerned in Osun State? Most especially the infrastructural development. I would like us to look at some sectors, but let us start with infrastructural development. We still know that some people are still complaining of some roads that the government is actually undertaking now. Has work stopped because of politics, or work is still ongoing?
Thank you very much. Let me answer you directly. Work has not stopped. If you recall in the New Year message of Mr. Governor, he did acknowledge the fact that 2022 is an election year in Osun. But that as a responsive and responsible government, we will not, under whatever circumstance, stop governance, because we have known over the years not to mix politics with governance. And so in spite of the fact that we are facing an election in another 2 months or so, work is still ongoing. If you check the records, contract for road construction have been awarded, some roads projects are ongoing, and I believe that others will still come on stream. For us, all the accolades we have gotten for the little we have done so far is like a wake-up call for us to do more, because they say the word for good work is more work. And so, to ask you directly once again, work has not stopped. As far as infrastructure is concerned, as far as other aspects of government is concerned, we are on top of our game, in spite of the fact that we are also playing politics by the side.
Okay, I would like you to talk about some things like the commissioning of some projects. Some people are saying that when are you going to bring maybe a president or somebody to come and commission projects? Most especially, you open the Olaya flyover for traffic, people are applying it and people are enjoying it, yes. But is there any plan for commissioning of some massive projects in the state before the election?
Well, if you know us very well, you know that most of the time we play down on some of those things. I'm sure since we came in, We have never had any big ceremony, because we constructed, the road or roads. And if you look at some of the strategic road construction we have done, there are roads that there are roads that are enough to bring in even Mr. President to come and commission, judging from what you see in other states. I'm talking of roads like Yakoyumo Road that had not been touched for close to 44 years, which we fixed. Talk about Adegboyega Road, which had not been fixed for close to 33 years, which we have now fixed. You talk about our Adegboyega Road. That again, when we were inaugurating the road, the former speaker, who is an ambassador today, His Excellency Adegboyega, he stated categorically that 3 of them who were speakers from that axis, from that federal constituency, that cumulatively they spent 20 years in government, and that for those 20 years, what they couldn't do in 20 years, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola did within 2 years. So you agree with me that most of our road projects are very strategic and very historic. But in spite of that, we'll do it and we'll move on. For the commissioning, it is the timing that will determine what we'll do. But the most important thing is that these roads and these projects have been fixed, and our people are enjoying the services. For us, that is the most important thing.
Okay, before we leave that, I would like us to talk about some specific areas. After the break, we'll talk about politics. The mega schools. There was an issue about it recently, sometimes late last year and early this year. There was a committee set up by the government to look into the structural, architectural and everything about the buildings. We have not heard anything, and students are still in that. Some of them that are deficient, students are still there. Is it that the report said there is no issue, or is that we are just trying to look at it?
Work is ongoing on that. The progress is on. Once you receive such a report, you subject it to debate. After debate, you look at the recommendations. From there, you get a white paper. I am aware that the issue came up in one of the schools recently. And I'm sure very soon you hear from us. But let me also add that most of the time we prefer to do these things, correct the anomalies and move on without making noise about them. Even the one that became public knowledge, if not because some of our brothers came up to allege that we were trying to undermine the former governor, from the day we started the job until the day we finish, nobody would have heard. You would have just noticed that we're carrying out some, repairs, and, we move on. Usually, we don't always want to make noise about certain things because we are not a government that is used to complaining. We are a government that is used to, seeing challenges, resolving them, and move on.
But some people may say that you may not complain, maybe because the governor was part of the last administration. Maybe that is why you are not complaining.
No, that's really not the reason. It's not that, my principal would say that we were elected not to complain. We were elected to fix the issues. You knew the issues, and so you moved on and you told the people you were capable. And I think so far we have demonstrated capacity, we have demonstrated capability as far as that is concerned. It's not because it was him. Even if it weren't him, by my principal style, we are not used to complaining. We just draw a line, fix the issues, and move on.
Okay, you are saying that you have been able to fix several things, because of time, I would not like to go into some other sectors because when we talk about health, you still talk about the health insurance.
Like most of the roads we
inherited.
Who are fixing them without making noise about it? And you are seeing the progress being made on those roads.
But we ask on daily basis. Sometimes in February, January allocation, you had negative allocation. In February, that is the one you received in March, that's February allocation, you had a patry, something less than 200 million naira. And we now ask you, if you still pay salary, where are we getting the funds? Because some people from the other side, from your party, say, the top, they will be saying that you are getting some fund, maybe that are a resource of the work of the past administration. Where are you getting this fund to do all this?
What they claim was that we got refund on some roads.
And that is why
and they put the figure
at 48 billion naira.
Which is a lie. And I think we're able to prove to the whole world that what we got was, I think in the region about 11 billion or thereabout. That is one. Now let us even assume. Let us assume, that their story is correct. Let us assume that their story is correct. I'm sure you knew the state of Oyetola when we came in 2018. You knew the state of Boga when we came in 2018. Can you in honesty say that it was the state they were in 2018 that they are still at today? Or is it Oshogbo, Ikiun? You understand? Ordinarily, what we get from federal government as a fund, ordinarily should be a plus to us. But because most of those projects are not completed, we can't use it as a plus. We are still using those money to do those roads. Under normal circumstances, those roads, based on the loans, under normal circumstances, those roads ought to have been completed. And the records are there, you can cross-check. What we have gotten as refunds from those roads is about 11 billion. Are you saying that, are you saying that it's the 11 billion that we have been using in the last 4 years? Or is it 40, 40 or 45 billion that we have been using in the last 4 years?
But where are you getting the money? That's the question.
Good. One, if you are extremely prudent with your resources, people will marvel how you spend your money. For example, if you are giving 1,000 and I'm giving 1,000, if you are the type that it's extravagant, that spends anyhow, you spend your 1,000 naira without, you will not be able to even show what you use the money for. But me that is very prudent, by the time I begin to spend my own 1,000, people will begin to wonder, it's not the same 1,000 that they gave this man that they gave this one. How come? Look at what this man has used his own for. So, one of the things we have done is to block leakages. There are so many things that were happening previously which I won't want to go into details, which are not happening today. And so you are able to save those money. Now if you look at political appointees, you can't compare what we had in the past with what we have today. There too, we have been able to save money and getting value for money. We are serious about it. One last example before I stop, because I wouldn't want to go into details that will look as if I'm trying to indict the previous government. I try as much as possible to run away from it. I'm not sure if my principal is aware of what I want to say, but from my findings, you can find out. The Olaiya flyover that we did today was proposed at some point in the history of the state. And at the time it was proposed, they were proposing to spend about 5 billion on it. Then, now, we did it now with about 2.67 billion. So, I leave you to judge on that. Because ordinarily, things are more expensive now than they were in those days. I mean, in the past years. And so, that should also give you an inkling into the type of person the current manager of resources is. Finally, before I close on that, there was a time we were to travel on emergency to Abuja, and they were looking for a chartered flight, and the list they got was 10 million. My principal shouted, saying it was too expensive. And so for a governor to tell you that 10 million was too expensive for a trip, that should tell you the type of manager of men and resources that type of governor is. I rest my case at that.
Okay, as you rest your case on that, I would like us to go on a very short break. But when we are back, we'll talk more about politics, the internal politics in the APC. And on Tuesday, the governorship candidate of People's Democratic Party, Senator Ademola Adeleke, flagged up his campaign, and he said something in Iwo, and he said that his administration will fix Iwo Oshogu Road. We'll talk more on that when we come from this very short break. Please stay tuned, driver. Welcome back from that very short break. My guest is still here, and is the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, and that is Mr. Ismail Omipidan. We are discussing governance and politics in Osun. We have discussed governance, and he was able to tell us what they have done. But now, we'll be talking about politics. Let's go deeper into the political atmosphere. Your principal is now the governorship candidate of APC. But those, the rival, the Osun Progressives, they had 12,000 plus during the primaries. And we remember that your principal is governing this state today with less than 400 votes. How are you working to ensure that you close your ranks, or do you think they are not significant?
Well, I want to place on record that from day one, we have always said it, that we are not averse to reconciliation. And I recall, even if you go and read the governor's acceptance speech after the primary, he specifically invited former SSG, former Deputy Speaker, House of Reps, Honorable Lasu Yusuf, to join hands with him to build a strong APC with a view to confronting the opposition in the July election. So, to that extent, our doors remain open. We are not averse to genuine reconciliation. And I want to tell you that as I speak, some of our brothers and sisters are already finding their way back home. And I believe that before July 17, majority of them would have been back. We don't believe that we don't need anybody. We believe that it's a collective project. And so we believe that their support for us will go a long way. But let me say this with a sense of modesty, that God, our Creator, the ultimate decider of things, whatever He decides will happen, whether you are part of it or not, it will come to pass. God has been with us from the beginning of this project in 2018 till today, and I believe very strongly that God will never forsake us.
will you be ready? I mean, your group will you be ready to at least maybe you share the assemblies, the state assembly or national assemblies slots? Maybe it's with them. Maybe you take 70, you take 30.
I'm not the party chairman.
But do you think that can be on the table? That can be part of what you consider?
I'm sure if there's any reason for that, once that comes up, I'm sure those who are charged with that tax will see to its logical conclusion.
I'm saying that it's not going to be winner takes all. You know, that is because those people are also afraid that they want to be obtain funds now, but they have like if they obtain it and with your majority with the majority that you say you party, they will not have their votes at primaries.
Well, what I would just say is to refer you to the comment of the national chairman of APC about 2 weeks ago when the party had its leg in Abuja. What did he say? He said by virtue of the constitution of the party, that state governors remain the leaders of the party in their respective states. And the former governors, though statesmen, must learn to subject themselves to the leadership of their governors. I won't say more than that.
Okay, let's talk about the other one, and that is the bigger one now, the People's Democratic Party. Senator Ademola Adeleke won the first ballot in 2018. Now he's facing.
He didn't win the first ballot.
Before the run, he was.
There was no winner.
Okay, he was leading. Okay, he was leading.
Okay.
He was leading at the first ballot, and then at the run, he lost. Now you have the same person contending with you again. Are you not afraid of his popularity, considering the fact that he has been moving around now?
Well, I am very happy and I thank God that you are a journalist like me. I'm sure if I task you to conduct a research, to do a popularity rating of Ademola, even if you refuse to share the outcome with me, I'm sure that the Ademola of 2018, in terms of popularity rating, can never be the same thing as the Ademola of 2022. That is one. Two.
Because the Ademola still remains the Ademola.
That's why I'm saying that if you conduct, I'm talking based on empirical evidences.
Okay.
Because in 2018, Senator Ademola Jackson Adeleke ran against Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola, a relatively unknown politician at the time, one whom majority were skeptical about his capacity, one whom majority were skeptical about his person. Therefore, most of those who voted Ademola Jackson Adeleke in 2018 did that not necessarily out of love for that candidate, but perhaps because of some other considerations which I wouldn't want to go into details for now, because the campaign has started. However, he will be facing a known Oyetola in 2022. He will be facing an Oyetola who many thought would not be able to pay salaries, but who has been paying salaries full regularly since 2018. He will be facing an Oyetola who many thought will keep our fathers and mothers selling school uniforms out of their business, but one who have brought back our mothers and fathers who are into that business. He has brought them back to life. He will be facing an Oyetola who since 2018 has been paying pension and gratuities regularly. We will be facing an Oyetola who since 2018 has demonstrated that you must not necessarily have a governor from your area before you enjoy the dividends of democracy. And so there are different scenarios. There are two different scenarios. The PDP candidate will be telling us what he wants to do, but we will be telling you what we have done and what we'll be doing to consolidate on the gains we have recorded. The PDP candidate will be contending with a man who has done everything within his power to revive the local economy of the state, and is already making moves to change the narrative of the state from being a pure civil service state to one bubbling with economic and commercial activities. Therefore, there's no reason to be afraid of the PDP candidate.
But you know, some people will still say that you are facing a PDP candidate that in 2018 was having certificate scandal, and then now a PDP candidate that has gone to United States to have more certificates.
Well, by my nature, I don't discuss personalities.
No. You know, you were saying that.
These are issues. No, these are issues. I know what it took me to acquire my first degree, and at the risk of sounding immodest, whatever degree the PDP candidate is parading today cannot be equated with the one I acquired in school.
But he also has certificates.
Well, there are certificates and there are certificates.
But this one is also
and
you know.
Let me say this: beyond the certificate, what has he done?
He was a former senator. Representing Osun West,
and so what did he do with it?
But he will also say that he has some achievement.
What did he do with it? I'm sure the people of the state will gladly want to listen to him. This was a man that was unnecessarily hyped before his return, and by the time he returned, I thought he would be going from one radio station to another, telling us what he has was. I am not sure you have had him speak since he came in. I stand to be corrected.
You know, he spoke, he called it, you know, as maybe a day after he won the primary.
Okay, after he won,
he called it.
Since I said anything.
No, I'm not to answer that.
And I told you, the circumstances of 2018 is different from the circumstances of 2022. Those factors that almost work in his favor. You see, most of the things that work to this favor have been fixed by us. One, they campaign strongly on the fact that they will not pay half salary. We have not paid half salary since 2018. They campaigned strongly that they were going to abolish single uniform. Osun pupils in the secondary and primary school are no longer wearing the same uniform. They campaigned strongly that they were going to pay pension and gratuities. Since 2018 that we have come on board today, we are paying pension and gratuities. And we are also clearing the backlogs that we inherited. So, for me, it will be very, very difficult.
But some people will say maybe you are implementing, because with what you are saying now, are you saying that you are implementing their 2018 agenda?
Not necessarily. Those were also part of the promises my principal made to the people of the state. Okay. If you read my principal's inaugural speech, he stated it clearly that by the grace of God, the issue of half salary will be a thing of the past. And he laid out a lot of things that he was going to do, and all those we have implemented faithfully. So I believe very strongly that while Ademola would be, the PDP candidate rather, will be speaking on what he would do, we'll be telling the people of Osun what we have done, and if given another opportunity, the things we'll do are better. And the way we run this administration is such that it was based on inclusivity. We run an all-inclusive governance. We did not just sit down and appropriate for the people of the state. We went around the state asking them what they wanted, and that is why, if you notice, we are working more on infrastructure, because people ask for more roads than they were for other amenities. And with the way we have done infrastructure, I believe very strongly that those who have not gotten all the ones they wanted now, I'm sure we'll get will be visited, subsequently. But so far, we have been able to distribute our projects across the 3 senatorial districts. And that also showed very well when we had our strategic talk, strategic engagement shortly before the primaries. There was hardly any of the prior constituencies we went to, any local government we went to, that we didn't see 1 or 2 projects to point at, which we executed during our time. So we have no reason to be afraid of the PDP candidate. We believe very strongly that with God and the people on our side, we will defeat him again in July 16th.
And finally, on politics, there is this notion outside there that the 2023 election, the National Assembly and the State Assembly, is already causing rancor within your rank. That many people that are aimed at getting maybe House of Reps, House of the Senate, or the House of Assembly at loggerhead as we speak. And that may actually affect the campaign and the election of your principal. What will you say to that?
Yeah, I think it's just mere insinuation. In APC, we have the capacity to resolve our internal differences. And as I speak to you, the stakeholders meeting is ongoing between the party leaders and the critical stakeholders within the party. I attended one yesterday. I attended that of the Ilafera constituency. The Ilafera constituency comprises Boluwado, Federal, and Ila local government. So we've been talking to each other on the need to play down our respective ambitions and face the governorship election frontally, after which we now begin to talk about personal ambitions. So I don't...
But no, the INEC does not allow that. That one should be completed by...
No, what I mean, what I'm saying in essence is that that will not in any way affect our governorship project. For now, all of us, we are focused on the governorship.
Somebody also said that the governor is of the opinion that everybody that wants to return should be allowed to do. Is that true?
I have not heard him say so.
Okay.
He has not told me that.
Okay.
And I am not sure there is anything like that.
Some people of the opinion that the people that we have now, majority of them were just given tickets by the former governor because of loyalty, not about competency and capacity. Are you also considering loyalty or competence now?
The party leaders will decide that at the appropriate
time. You are a member of the party as we speak. Is your party considering competence or loyalty?
I am not the chairman of the party.
No, you are a member. At least and then you are not just an ordinary member. No, you are a stakeholder. Are you going to look at competence or loyalty?
I am not the chairman of the party.
Okay.
I believe very strongly that the leaders of the party, they have the capacity to look at those issues and ensure that we have the best to represent us.
Okay, we have the best to represent us. But before I let you go, finally, I would like to say, because I'm also a stakeholder, and Osogbo Road is work still ongoing.
Yeah, work is still ongoing.
Okay.
One good thing about Mr. Governor is that whatever we will not do, we will never say it. But anything you hear him say, you can take it to the bank. We'll do it.
What about the Iwo Osogbo Road? Because that was one of the things that
Iwo Osogbo Road, we tried to patch it at some point, but we have since realized that a complete overhaul is necessary, and we are looking at it very soon. You will hear from us.
Okay, very soon you will hear from the government on Iwo Osogbo, and that was the closing shot from the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Osun State, Mr. Ismail Omipidan, for this edition, the CPS. Thank you so much. We believe that as we are moving deeper into the campaign, issues will be raised, and then we'll have reason to also bring you here to talk more on the issues that the opposition will be raising from one opposition to another, and then we'll have reasons to also bring you down here to speak to you also once more. I want to sincerely thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine.
And on that note, I want to say join me on the other side. Yes, that was our discussion with Mr. Ismail Omipidan, the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Adegboyega Oyetola. and he was able to tell us what is actually happening as far as governance is concerned. He said even though they are doing politics, but they are ensuring that governance is also continuing. He said that they are doing their possible best to ensure some specific projects are delivered before the end of the year or before the election time. And he said that as far as they are concerned, they do not believe that Oyetola of then is still the Oyetola of now. He actually said Oyetola of then was relatively unknown, but the Oyetola of now is tested and trusted, and those are his words. And he said they are not afraid of Senator Ademola Adeleke, stating that they are looking towards what the PDP will use to campaign this year. And those are his words. That is how far we will go in today's edition of Insightful Moment. Before I go, ensure if you are 18 and above and you have registered, the INEC REC in Osun actually said over 300,000 PVC are left uncollected in the INEC offices across the state. Please, if you have registered and you have not collected your PVC, go there and collect your PVC. Be among those that will decide the fate of Osun for another 4 years, come July 16, 2022. And that is how far we can go in today's edition. Thank you for being part of it. My name is Jare Tiamiyu. Some other time, please ensure you stay safe. Bye for now.